fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I'm going to be working on my Harajuku from Bella Art Diamonds, my cute little girl here. So I'm going to continue to work on her. I'm going to zoom into the section where I'm going to be working, get everything else all set up, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I've got a bit of this weirdly shaped section because my release papers didn't quite evenly go across. So yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, all right. Let me pour some drills and get ready to go. All right, I'm gonna start with some of the colors on this bandage here. I've kind of gotten into this section on her face where there's a lot of small bits of different colors. So not necessarily a lot of confetti, but a lot more color switching and less color blocking than in some other places. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with this kit. I think she's turning out really well so far, so I'm super excited. Let me start with my life update. There's a lot of pinks in this kit, which is one of the reasons that I liked it, but there's a lot of pinks in this kit. All right, so starting with my life update, it's been a busy week. So much has gone on. So let's see. Hubby ended up taking a job call. It's for the company that they thought was going to hire them in a few months or at the end of this month anyway. And he was worried about my oldest medical bills, and he didn't want us to have to dip into our savings, which I told him, I said, you didn't have to do that. We would have been fine. Yeah, but so he's been working, sort of. So he had to go Monday, and they wanted him to be there to fill out all the new hire paperwork, but he had to go to Kansas City to do it. And it was supposed to be bad weather on Monday. They were calling for tons of snow. So he decided he would go up and spend the night Sunday night. So he was there first thing in the morning, get everything done, and then hopefully be on his way back home before all the bad weather hit. It ended up hitting later than we thought anyway, so it all ended up working out. But so he went up there, got everything done, and then started the new job on Tuesday. We were supposed to they were calling for anywhere between 6 to 10 inches of snow on Monday. It didn't actually start snowing until like Monday night, and we didn't get the 10 inches that they were calling for, at least where I am. But it rained basically all day Monday, and then Monday evening it started snowing. So there's a layer of ice under everything, and it was a pretty thick layer because it rained all day. So between the ice and then the snow on top of it, it was kind of enough to shut everything down. All of the schools, I think, all the school districts in my state were closed pretty much on Monday. Even some of the community colleges closed. The universities probably would have closed, except they're not back in session yet. So it was pretty bad. Even some of the churches and everything closed. So it's bad weather if the church closes. Anyway, so he got home. He did go to work on Tuesday, but they ended up getting called out on a storm. So he was gone for storm work until Thursday, I think. My youngest and I were supposed to go to the dentist on Tuesday morning. We ended up not going. I called to leave a message Monday night that we weren't going to be able to make it in. I don't know what happened, but I got a phone call later that day from the dentist's office. But it was a number I didn't recognize, so I didn't answer the phone. And it was one of the workers from the office letting me know that they assumed that we were not coming in because they know we live out of town. I mean, it's like a 45-minute drive into the big city to see our dentist. They know that, so they just said, we assume you're not coming in because of that, so call us and reschedule, but you'll have to wait and do that until tomorrow because all of our phones are down. So I told my husband, I bet that was fun for them on Tuesday. I'm sure they had lots of people canceling because of the weather, but with no phone lines, I'm assuming everybody's probably using their cell phones to try and... Anyway, so we didn't go to the dentist. Hubby worked until like Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, I think he came home, and then they were going to work on Friday. He actually had taken the day off on Friday because my oldest had her post-op checkup, and we had some other running around we wanted to do as well. So he just took the day off, but they ended up not working anyway because it was minus 20 outside with the wind chill, and it's only gotten colder. Saturday it was super cold. Sunday it's been super cold. Monday, well, I think they said the high today is supposed to be -11. That's actual temperature. That's not with the wind chill, which is crazy. Hubby said they were already talking on Thursday. They didn't think they'd be working Friday, which they ended up not. And they probably are not going to work Monday and maybe not even Tuesday because of how cold it's supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be so cold with the wind chill that they're saying you could get frostbite in a matter of minutes outside. So they won't work in that case. So we'll see what happens there. We took my oldest for her surgery recheck. Thank you to everybody for the well wishes for her. She came through the surgery great. Everything went well. They checked the cyst after they removed it. Everything was benign, so no worries there. So now at this point, it is just kind of managing her symptoms and everything going forward. So knock on wood, we're done with surgeries and surprises like that for the future. And I was talking to her because she had to get a letter from the doctor. She's got a lifting restriction for the next couple of weeks because they had to make an incision in her abdomen. When you cut those muscles, you have to be really careful not to pull anything back open. So she's on a lifting restriction. So like, we took her after the appointment to get her groceries and helped her take her groceries into her apartment because they're still working on the road in front of her parking spot by her apartment. So she's having to park like a block and a half away and walk in this super bitter cold. So we ended up getting her groceries and helping her carry her groceries in so she didn't hurt herself trying to carry all that stuff in. And she came to our house Friday night, was here doing laundry, but it ended up taking longer than she thought. And it was probably 7-8 o'clock by the time she was finished, and it was dark. And I said, do you want to just spend the night here? It's super cold. I don't know where you're going to have to park at this point, because everybody else would have already gotten home from work and taken the closer parking spots. And I didn't want to have to worry about her slipping and sliding in the snow. They have to cross a busy street. The landlord had not been out and shoveled the sidewalk, so there was ice all over the sidewalk. So she just said, yeah, I'll just stay here tonight. So we inflated the air mattress for her, and she slept on the air mattress last night, which she slept until almost 10 o'clock, seemed fine. But when she got up, she was complaining that her back hurt. And I said, well, it was better than sleeping on the floor, and that way you didn't have to worry about trying to drive home in the dark and not being able to see where you were going and all that stuff. So, and I had a couple days ago a hankering for my husband's, I'm just calling it chicken dip. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, that's essentially what we use it for. I guess it's like a burrito filling or a taco filling or whatever you want to call it. But I think I've mentioned it before. It's just chicken with salsa and queso and a can of corn and taco seasoning thrown in. We had made it a couple days before she stayed, and she's like, Mom, this is really good. She says, Mom, I'm going to stop at the store on the way home and get all this stuff so I can make this so I can have it at home. And I said, well, it's nice and filling. It's nice comfort food. It's nice and hot while it's cold outside. So, and lucky her, she thought she had to go back to work on Monday. And I said to her, aren't you guys off on Monday? And she said, why would we be off? And I said, well, it's a holiday. And I said, I think the teachers have to work, but I don't think you do, because there's not going to be any kids. It's like a PD day for the teachers. So I think they have to be there, but I don't think you guys do. So she checked with her work, and she's like, no, you're right. I don't have to go to work on Monday. And I'm like, all right, well, bonus for you. Another extra day off that you can relax before you head back in. But she's looking forward to going back to work. I said, yeah, who knew you could be bored. All this time you're working, you're thinking, oh, I wish I was at home. And then you get the chance to stay at home and you're like, I'm bored out of my skull. And she's like, yep, she's tired of looking at the walls of her apartment. And I said, well, I can understand that, because not only was she not working, but she was basically trapped, for want of a better word, in the apartment since she couldn't drive. So, we were going over and helping with groceries and laundry and stuff, but I wasn't going over there every day or anything. So, yeah, she's ready to get back out and start seeing people and talking to people. She's more social than I am, so wouldn't bother me if I stayed home all the time. Anyway, so she's back at work as of Tuesday. We'll see if hubby's back at work as of Tuesday, or maybe he's going to be back not until Wednesday. Although he's kind of waiting to see what happens. This job that he's on is another one like what he was doing before. It's in a different area, different town, but same sort of thing. It's a lot of businesses that have things that they're replacing poles and running new wires and things. So they have to do a lot of overnights or night work because the businesses can't be shut off during the day, which he's not particularly looking forward to because he doesn't like staying up that late. They have to be at work by 7 a.m. and then they want them to stay and work basically 24 hours in a row, which is okay because the money's nice, but also that's just tiring. And especially when you're doing something like working with high voltage electricity, you would think that you would want them pretty well rested so that they were functional and weren't going to be making any stupid mistakes because they're tired. But what do I know? Hopefully you guys can't hear that. It is so super windy here today that right outside my office, it's an outside wall on one wall, and it is our electric meter is there, but there's like a tag on it and it blows around and makes a lot of noise whenever it hits the side of the house. I did see, hubby and I were talking about the fact that I don't always watch the games, but he and my son watch a lot of football, and the game in Buffalo, my son has been trying to get me to bet with him all week that they were going to cancel it or postpone it, or they ended up just moving it to Monday. But I told you, Mom. Like, well, I didn't think they would do that. I thought they had enough experience dealing with the weather in Buffalo, but I guess if it's bad enough that Buffalo wants to move the game because they're having issues dealing with the snow, that's pretty bad. So, all right, I think that is all for this color of pink. Do I see any more? Missed one right there. I've got this line right here, but I think I'm going to wait until I move this other paper off out of the way. I'll do some of these other sections. So I was talking to my hubby and telling him that everybody's been telling me that you can't hear all of the cars and the dogs and everything, which is, I'm super grateful for. I told him the mic that I use is not expensive. So I was afraid that some of that kind of background noise was getting picked up, but it doesn't appear so. So I'm going to try to stop worrying about it because it doesn't seem like it's affecting anyone but me. So I guess there's that. The only other thing that's been going on in my regular life is that I'm now having issues with my right leg. I spent almost 2 years trying to figure out what was going on with my left leg. Still don't know that I got a diagnosis completely. The doctor diagnosed me with bursitis, but I've done some of the things that are supposed to mitigate the bursitis, and it doesn't really seem to make a difference. But now I'm having troubles with my right knee, and it's not in the same sort of place. Like on my left knee, it's on the inside of my knee. On my right leg, it's on the outside of my knee. And I actually am having problems on the outside of my right knee, my right hamstring, all the way up into my glutes and into that sacroiliac joint. I've got sore spots all over. So I'm back to trying all kinds of anti-inflammatory stuff, trying to see if that is going to help mitigate some of the problems, because I told my husband I've been dealing with my left knee being frustrating for so long. It's better than it was, but it's still not back to 100%. I don't know that it ever will be. And for the longest time, kept telling myself, well, at least my right knee's okay. And now my right knee's giving me problems. And it's not arthritis, because it's not the joints. Like, they tested me for a bunch of that stuff. I had MRIs and x-rays and everything. It's not arthritis. So I'm not really sure what it is, but I want it to go away. So I'm going to try and do what I can food/diet wise. And then I'm also trying to do supplements and anti-inflammatory foods, that kind of thing. I got to go back to some of the things I was doing with physical therapy. I've tried doing some of them already, and some of them help, but it's not in the exact same spot. And this one kind of hurts all up and down. So I've seen a couple of things that I think might be helpful, stretching and exercises and things like that. So I'm going to give those a go and see if I can make it better for myself before I spend a whole bunch of money going back to physical therapy for it to not really make that much difference. All right, I think that's everything for my real life. What's going on in my diamond painting world? I feel like I am so behind. I started working on 2024 in December and made all these plans. I was going to hit the ground running. And I feel like since January 1st, I've just gotten further behind every day that goes on. And I know that I've had lots of things going on in my real life that have caused that. But hubby is working again. Hopefully, again, like I said, knock on wood, we're done with surgery, so everything can kind of settle down real life wise and we can get caught up on everything. I hope. Crossing my fingers. I did buy some things. One of my goals this year was to spend each month $150. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Well, gosh, turns out when you're buying diamond painting kits, that doesn't take long to add up. So I purchased a kit from the Mermaid Cavern. I've seen some people doing some of theirs. I really like their art style. It's kind of an anime type art style. So I'm really curious to see what the kit looks like and the quality of it and everything. I'm not sure when it will get here. It said 3 to 4 weeks of shipping. Who knows exactly how long that's going to be. It'll just be one of those, it gets here when it gets here. And I don't have any plans to do it immediately, so it's not that. It's just, you know, when you buy something, you're like, well, I want it. I bought it because I want it so I can see it and see what it's going to be like. So I bought that. I told you guys that I bought the temperature kit from Craft Pack Canada. That has arrived, but then I suddenly realized, oof, I need to get that out and get it unboxed and kitted up and everything, because one, I need to be charting the temperature. So I'm going to have to go back and look up what the first 2 weeks of January were temperature wise for us. And I'll be interested to see if I have the right colors of drills, because when I ordered the kit, you had to give her your typical highs and lows. So you go to Google and look for your area and look for what are the average high temperatures, what's the average low temperature, and then they'll give you drills within that range. But it's been so super cold and unseasonably cold the last 4 or 5 days. I'm curious to see whether or not I'll have enough drills. And I would like to work on that one as I go along. I don't want to wait. I mean, I could just wait, track the temperature, and then just wait until the end of the year and actually do the drill work. But I don't want to do that. I kind of want to do some progress pics and things. So we'll see how far I get with that. But that one's here. So that one's done. I bought the one from Mermaid Cavern, and then Bella Art had their big drop with all of their new kits. And I'm so kind of annoyed because I missed a bunch of them. I went to go log in and I was having trouble with my login. It kept telling me that I didn't have an account, but I know that I do because I have emails from them showing where I've earned points and things from previous purchases. So I thought maybe I was just putting in my password wrong, but it would tell me that the email and password didn't match. Well, so then I tried resetting my password, and then it would tell me it had no account associated with that email. So I finally just decided, well, whatever, I'll just set up a new account. So I redo everything, and as soon as I sign in, even though it acts like I'm making a new account, everything's all in there with my points and everything. So I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, it took me long enough to work through all the issues that I missed some of their new releases. By the time I got in there, they were sold out, which was a bummer. Now, I guess they had some issues with trying to figure out how to put things in their system for people who live international. So while they were in the process of doing that and making some changes, they also went back and added a bunch of kits for pre-orders. So hopefully the ones that I have pre-ordered won't take very long for them to issue another order, and then I'll get those. One of them was not a pre-order, one of them was in stock, but the other two are pre-orders. So I'm not sure when those are gonna get filled. I hope it doesn't take as long as it did with Craftably last time I did pre-orders. I don't really like to do pre-orders, but I get it. So, and I wanted the kits that I ordered, so I'm not going to tell you which ones I ordered, but I got some kits with them. So I think I've already passed my $150 for the month between the kits from Bella and Craft Pack and the Mermaid Cavern. So maybe I won't have to buy anything next month. Who knows? I did get my Diamond Painting Deutschland kitted up finally. You guys have only seen part 1. Part 2 will be coming out hopefully this week. The static was ridiculous, and there was static in literally every single bag. Now, somebody did point out to me that it is winter, and I forget this every year until someone points it out to me, that during the winter, of course, we're all running our heating, and so the air naturally is drier unless you're running a humidifier or something, which we don't typically do. So of course there's going to be more static. We loaned our humidifier to my oldest, and she still has it. So he's like, I'm just going to go get one for us. He's going to order a new one so that we can dehumidify everything so I won't have to deal with all the static. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's going to do it, but won't hurt anything, I guess. At least we won't be shocking ourselves on furniture or anything anymore. When we took my oldest grocery shopping, we were walking through the store, and we get to the freezer section, and every time she opens the door, she's getting shocked. Mom, what is? And I'm like, it's winter. They're running the heaters, and it's winter. They can't help it. So I got the Diamond Painting Deutschland Melody in Pink kitted up. So like I said, you guys will get to see part 2 here soon. I've been working on this one, the Harajuku. This is from my Want to Do series for January. The Diamond Painting Deutschland is my big kind of overarching project for the first 5 or 6 months of the year. This is a project for January, and then I also need to start on my 5 oldest kits that I wanted to do, because I want to kind of get those out of the way the first 5 months of the year as well. I have it unboxed. I don't have it kitted up yet. You guys haven't seen that. You'll be seeing the unboxing. Wait, have you seen the unboxing? I don't know. YouTube time is weird. Anyway, you may have seen the unboxing. I think you have now that I think about it. So I got to get it kitted up so I can actually start laying drills on that one. And because it has taken me so long to get the Diamond Painting Deutschland kitted up, I'm behind on it. If hubby ends up not working Monday or Tuesday, I'm thinking that I will just kind of leave all the household stuff to him, let him cook, take care of dinner and all that, and I will just be in diamond painting la la land trying to get caught up on everything. I also feel like I've been working pretty much exclusively on square kits. I'm trying to think. The last few Orloas that I've done are square. This one is a square. Flower Crazy was a square. Moonbeam was round, and my one with all the gold that I did from Crafties was a round. But I've just been doing a lot of squares, and I think that's also part of the reason that everything seems to be going slower, because squares just naturally take longer. They're smaller, so you have to lay more of them. Yeah, it just takes longer. And my first one that I'm doing for the 5 oldest series is also a square. So the next one that I'm going to do for that series, though, I'm pretty sure is a round. So hopefully that'll let it go a little bit faster. I have found, I said I bought some new kits. So the Mermaid Cavern is a new to me diamond painting company. Like I said, I've seen some people doing them and they look good. So I'm anxious to see what my kit looks like once it arrives. I've had a couple new sites come up for me. Actually, I think it's more like 3 or 4. I can't remember the names of all of them, but I'm going to be looking at them and trying them out and seeing what their products are like. Trying to try, like I said, a bunch of these kind of smaller companies while I'm still here in the US and shipping isn't exorbitantly expensive. I don't know which one I'm going to try first. There's so many companies. I also want to try some new tool companies that I've seen. You know, like I said, I thought I was going to have trouble figuring out where to spend my $150 each month. Turns out not so much. It's more of a, which one of these do I spend it at first kind of thing, which is good. I mean, I think it's good that new companies are popping up. Competition is always a good thing. And I don't know that I've ever had, I've been frustrated with some kits before and disappointed in how some of them turned out. But for the majority of my diamond painting, the ones that I've been disappointed in have been few and far between. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with the kits that I've purchased, whether it was a premium kit or not. Now, granted, my expectations are lower, of course. The more you spend on something, the more, or at least for me at least, the higher my expectations are, because you're paying a premium, so you ought to be getting something for that premium, right? I have plenty of opportunities to spend my budget, so that's good, and not as worried about spending it now that hubby is back at work, and excited because that means now that he's back at work that I can get back to sending out some random acts of kindness. I had kind of put those on hold until we knew what his job situation was going to be, because it is just an expense, and even though shipping is not horribly expensive, it is money that I just thought I would hang on to until we had a more secure situation. So I'm excited that he's working again and everything is going well. We haven't started getting bills yet for my daughter's surgery, but hopefully they will not be exorbitantly expensive, and we'll be able to handle everything without dipping too much into our savings. All of that has kind of resolved itself, and now I can kind of get back to sending out random acts of kindness. So I'm excited about that. I've got some stuff piled up that I have been waiting to send out, and so I'm excited that I'll be able to do that. So hopefully in the next week or so here, I'll be able to start doing that again. So if you're signed up and you haven't gotten one, don't worry, I will get to your name eventually. I've been doing this for 2 years, 3 years now. I think almost 3 years actually. I'll have to look up and see when my YouTube anniversary is. I want to say I started my channel in March, so I should have an anniversary coming up. I'll have to look it up and see. What else is going on in my diamond painting world? Well, I got an email from Diamond Art Club that I was getting points for something. I don't remember if it was some anniversary thing, some customer service thank you thing. I don't know. I got an email that said you're getting some points. So I was like, okay, well, let me log in and see where I'm at for points, because as I've said many times before, I often forget that I have points to use. So I logged in and I'm so confused. So I logged in, it gave me the bonus points, so no issue with that, and all my other points are still there. But when I logged in, it tells me that I am ruby status, and not ruby, emerald, which is the lowest one. It's emerald, sapphire, ruby, diamond, I think. Anyway, so basically I was at the lowest tier, and I think it said I needed to spend $1 more to get up to sapphire. But I went back and looked, and I spent like $300+ with them on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which I thought should put me at least at ruby. So I don't know what's going on. It bothered me for a bit, and then I decided, whatever. I mean, what are the benefits of diamond status? You get access to their VIP group, which I've never been able to access, so I don't get that. And then you get the early shopping for their new releases. But gosh, I can't. There was one new release I bought, I think in December, but other than that, I did buy some new releases Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but for the rest of the year, I don't know that I really bought many new releases. Even if I don't have access to the new releases, that 30-minute window, they still open it up to everybody half an hour later. So I was like, well, whatever. If I have to wait 30 minutes, I have to wait 30 minutes. But then Saturday, I got an email that said, here's your early access, which you shouldn't get unless you're ruby or diamond. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if their system was messed up somehow. I haven't logged back in to double check everything, and I didn't buy any of their new releases this week, so I don't know what's going on. I do know at some point I'm going to log in and spend. I've got points with them, and I've got points with Dreamer Designs, and I'm going to be using some of those to get some kits from both of them. I really like Dreamer Designs, but I tend to get landscapes from Dreamer Designs and everything else from other places. I don't know why. I'm trying to think. I've not done a whole ton of Dreamer Designs. I did one that was like a landscape of like a cottage on the water. Loved the way that one turned out. I did the mermaid one. I think that was just last year. I did the penguin one, which was last year as well. I don't think I've done another Dreamer Designs. Are those the only 3 that I've done? Maybe. But I have, I think, 6 or 7 of their kits. But most of them are landscapes. And I think that's why I haven't done a lot of them yet, because they're big, because they're landscapes. This will be interesting for me this year because, like I said, I'm already feeling like I'm behind. But I also lowered what I was trying to accomplish this year as far as numbers go. Last year, my goal was to have 50 finishes. This year, it's only 35. And honestly, I don't even know if I'll make that. Maybe once I have the Diamond Painting Deutschland out of the way and it's finished and I can focus on something else, because I don't have any other really big projects planned, at least at this point, for 2024 other than that one. So maybe once that one's done and kind of off my plate, I'll be able to focus on some other stuff. And I do have, I think, at least one Dreamer Designs is in my want series. So hopefully I'll get to those, but they're just big. And so I think I put them off thinking, well, I'm going to do these other smaller kits first and just get them out of the way. And I don't know why. I mean, I think I'm going to have to do some shifting in my thinking this year, because one of my goals is to actually increase my stash, which that's never happened before. It's one of those things where, you know how you look back and you're like, how did this happen? Because I never really set out to have a stash. Just when I started diamond painting and discovered that it was something that I really, really liked, I just started buying things that were appealing. And it's very easy, especially at first, to get caught up in the whole, oh, if I don't order it now, I'm never going to be able to get it. So that's the justification behind the stash. I'm doing it for a bit different reasons this year. Like I said, once we move, it will be more expensive. I think I've got some ways around that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But anyway, I think it's just going to take a bit for me to kind of change my mindset, because increasing my stash has never been one of my goals before. Yeah, I just think it's going to take a bit of me looking at the pile and going, no, this is okay, because over the next couple of years, I may not be buying much, if anything. There's just so many unknowns for our move to Canada. We don't know what my husband's job situation is going to be. We don't know what our expenses are going to be. I don't know that we're going to know any of those things ahead of time. So yeah, for the short term when we first move, I don't know that I'll be able to purchase mini diamond paintings. So I want to have the stash built up so that I can, shop from my stash. That's kind of where I want to be at once we move. But life is ever changing, so we'll see what happens. I told my husband I had so many things already packed up because last winter we didn't think we'd be here for this winter. And here we are. And now that it's been so super cold, like all of my heated blankets, I have a heated blanket that I normally keep on my couch so I can snuggle under it when we're watching TV and stuff, because I get cold very easily. And everything's kind of packed away. So I told my husband I'm going to have to dig all that stuff out so I can use it, because it's been so cold. Because I so far have refused to turn up our furnace. Our heat is natural gas, And ever since 2021, when we had that super cold snap, and they're saying this one isn't going to be quite as bad, but nearly. So you remember in 2021, like the Texas power grid failed and people were without power for days and weeks. And it was super cold here, and we got stuck with this huge gas bill because natural gas isn't regulated. So it's supply and demand. And the price has just been going up, up, and up. I have, since 21, been tracking it, and it jumped, well, I think for the last 3 months, it's jumped like at least 50 cents to more like $1 something every month. So we've gone from, it was, I think, 5 something in August, September, somewhere around there. It is now almost $10 a unit. And I don't know what a unit is. I'm assuming it's probably cubic feet or something, but I just know on my bill that comes from the city, it says per unit, and the per unit price keeps going up. And I told my husband, I am not getting stuck with another giant bill like we did a couple years ago. We're still paying it off. And I said, I'm not doing that. So we've gotten out our space heaters and have been running those. He actually brought one of them in here to the office while I was filming, because even with my film lights on, it doesn't get as warm in here as it used to. Of course, I sit right by the window, and they're just regular curtains. I don't have like blackout or thermal curtains on the window or anything. So it gets a little chilly. And we put one in our bedroom because we have an ensuite and we have a bay window in our bedroom. So there's a bunch of windows there. And we have a big picture window with an arch above it in our bathroom, which I've always found amazing. Like I don't know who wants big windows like that in their bathroom. I don't. So they're all covered with curtains, but they're still windows. And so, you know, the curtains can only block so much. The cold still gets in. When it's -11 outside, it's still going to be cold by the window. And we have a big sliding patio door. So there's lots of cold air coming in that way. I mean, our house is pretty well insulated. I don't want to say our house is like super cold or anything, because it's not. And we are way luckier than some of the other people that live in our town. Some of the houses in our town, you know, were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So they don't have great insulation. They've got drafty windows. So we're in a much better position, but the electricity is cheaper. So we're using the electric space heaters to keep warm. And then we have an electric blanket on our bed. And my son was, Mom, I don't know why you have so much trouble regulating your body temperature. How can you sleep with all that heat on? And I said, well, I don't sleep with the heated blanket on. I turn it on to warm up the sheets and everything for like 30 minutes before I get into bed. And then once I'm in bed, I turn it off. I don't sleep with it on. Of course, he's a young, I started to say teenager, but I guess he's not a teenager anymore, but young man. He definitely runs hotter than I do, so. And he sleeps in a much smaller room with way less windows, so I said it's a lot easier to regulate the temperature in your room than it is in my room. Anyway, that got really off topic, but yeah. All right. Diamond painting. Yeah, just really looking forward to spending hopefully some time getting caught up on all the things I feel like I'm behind on. I'm about halfway through this particular kit, and then I think I'm going to spend some time this week kind of getting caught up on the Diamond Painting Deutschland one. I didn't have it kitted up, so I wasn't able to do anything on it, but now that it's kitted up, my goal was to do 3 sections per week. So I think I'm only 2 weeks behind. So if I just put in a couple of days of some pretty hot and heavy diamond painting, I might be able to get mostly caught up. Now, that is without me really looking at it and seeing what the confetti situation is. It may take me longer than I think to get caught up with those sections, but that's okay. The goals are just roadmaps, right? As long as I get it finished in a timely manner, even if it's not by May 1st, then I'll be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I'm actually, for as frustrating as that kit has been with all the mistakes and everything, I'm kind of curious to see overall how it's going to turn out because of all the kind of frustrations with it. What is it going to look like once I finally get to the point where I can lay some drills down? I think it'll be okay. I know there's been a lot of mistakes, but at this point, several people said, you know, you could go back to the company and ask them to fix things or ask them what went wrong. And I just kind of figure at this point, I ordered it over 2 years ago and I didn't open it and check it out. So that's kind of on me. I mean, most places will tell you when they have a warranty that that warranty is good for, you know, X number of days from the time you receive the kit. Now, yes, there are people that have like lifetime warranties if you're missing drills and kind of thing, that kind of thing. I don't know that I'm missing any drills. If anything, they gave me too many drills, it appears, because I got colors that I'm not going to use, but we'll see. And like I said, it's a challenge, which I enjoy. So the fact that it has mistakes in it actually makes it kind of more fun for me than one that doesn't. So yeah, it's all good. All right, I think I'm going to stop there. Let me zoom out and show you what I finished. So I still have kind of a big multi-placing section here. There is some multi-placing, so you get some stuff over here where it's like the things in her hair and everything is some confetti. The little like sprinkles on her cheeks are what these color spots are here. But then you've got those surrounded by some blocks of color. So it's a nice mix and I'm enjoying it. I actually think this one is turning out really well so far, and I'm loving all the pinks and purples in it. So having a lot of fun. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.